The spy's child is excited for the team to pick a particular player. If I were in the spy's situation, I'd definitely reflect on that. It's impressive how the child really wants the team to make this choice, clearly expressing their opinion and insisting that the father must decide this year, or else face the consequences of not supporting the family. My oldest son has already made it clear that if the player isn't chosen, he'll distance himself from us and might join whoever selects him. I believe this motivation comes from his passion for fantasy football, especially for touchdowns, rather than a broader understanding of team building. I'm happy to see that my 10-year-old son has developed a love for the selection process and is perhaps starting to appreciate the evaluation aspect as well. However, I do have some concerns, knowing the demands that come with this. His enthusiasm is contagious. He walked into our facilities and confidently stated that if his father doesn't pick the player, it would be a big mistake. Does he watch videos during the player analysis? No. He prefers to go to YouTube and watch the content on his own, which I find curious. He's interested in the highlights, but I always remind him not to get carried away by just those clips. In previous conversations, we discussed culture. Who is his reference in this field? It's interesting to note that his agent is the same as mine. This player emerges as the top option for the team in the 6th spot, especially considering the urgent need at running back. My stance on this is clear, so I won't go into detail. However, I honestly believe there are many options available in this draft to strengthen the running back position, including a generational talent who could stand out immediately in the coming seasons. Would it be a mistake to focus on just one player? Not necessarily, but like many other prospects, he also has his flaws. I'd feel a bit foolish if the team chose him and then saw a second-round running back shine on another team, putting up comparable or even better numbers while we fail to address another urgent need. Despite my doubts about selecting this player, I wouldn't be too upset if the team went this route. That being said, I want to mention a few running backs that could be considered in the 2nd round or even later, players I trust who could become starters and be just as efficient as the chosen one. My favorite running back among these is an athlete I've analyzed thoroughly, and I believe he has all the desirable qualities, especially in pass protection. In fact, he's one of the best pass-blocking running backs in this draft, an area where the aforementioned player struggles. The main concern with him, which could affect his draft position, is that he shared the workload with another athlete in college. However, this could be an advantage, as it means less wear and tear on his legs. Overall, I'm confident he can match or even exceed the chosen player's production at the professional level, though I anticipate some criticism for my position. I can handle that. He's a player who could be available in the later rounds, possibly in the 2nd or even the 3rd, which would be a great advantage for the team. Another running back to consider is a very versatile athlete, capable of contributing in many ways. He's projected to be selected at the end of the 1st round, but he could still be available in the 2nd, making him a potentially valuable addition to the team. There's also another running back worth considering. The 3rd alternative would be a great acquisition for the team. Another standout running back is a versatile athlete who can contribute in various ways. He should be picked at the end of the 1st round, but might still be available in the 2nd, which would be an excellent deal. A player who also deserves attention should be selected a bit later than the other running backs I mentioned. Coming from a smaller school in Kansas, he's not very well known, but his departure from college reminds me of a running back who found success, as he also plays multiple roles in the offense. Although he doesn't have explosive speed, if you're looking for a running back who could stand out without requiring a significant draft investment, he would be an excellent choice. In addition to him, other running backs have the potential to offer similar production in the NFL or even better than some more hyped names, without the need to be picked in the 6th position of the draft. These are just considerations, of course. Another prominent name is the team's former general manager, who recently listed players that would fit the draft needs perfectly. It's important to note that he has a solid track record with regard to the draft, although, during his tenure, 1st-round picks weren't the best. This was partly due to inadequate talent evaluations by the coaching staff, leading to several choices that didn't work out. The only successful 1st-round pick was a running back who stood out. He was recently asked in an interview about his ideal pick at the 6th spot. He based his suggestion on his experience selecting a player who perfectly met the team's needs. This led him to reflect on what the coaching staff should consider. He suggested that a talented player would be an excellent option for the team's goals, emphasizing that he always sought a physical, downhill running game. He expressed enthusiasm for the pick and reiterated that this is one of the reasons why fans have a special affection for this player at the 6th spot. If this draft weren't filled with talented running backs, you could look back at last year's class, which lacked good options, and understand the hesitation. However, he pointed out that this draft is packed with exceptional talent available later, justifying not selecting a running back in the first round. He also mentioned 4 additional needs the team could focus on in the second round, highlighting the need for a wide receiver, with players potentially available at the 37th pick. He talked about the challenges faced in free agency regarding defense, signaling the need for a cornerback. A player he believes is underrated comes from a prestigious university, while another also emerges as a logical option that could be available. He mentioned that if one of the wide receivers mentioned was on the list at that spot, he would certainly pick one, as it would represent significant value for the team. However, he acknowledged that they might not be available at that moment, but anything can happen during the draft. The same logic applies to cornerbacks. If available at the 37th pick, he could see the team selecting one, considering the need for more depth in the defense. Additionally, he pointed out that if the team decided to focus on the wide receiver position in the first round, they could still target a running back in the second round or consider other positions like offensive line or even quarterback. The defense depth is truly impressive, and a similar reasoning could be made if the team decided to prioritize the receiver position in the first round. By choosing a talented player, there would still be a chance to add a running back in a subsequent round or consider another position like an offensive lineman or even a quarterback. One of the main reasons this draft is so promising for the team is that they've already addressed the quarterback situation, one of the most essential positions this season. This situation provides great flexibility for them to choose the best available player. It's important to note that fan excitement for certain prospects may not always materialize, as when fans get overly attached to a specific player, it often doesn't work out the way they expect, or the team might pass on him. The same could happen with a player who, curiously, might be falling in the draft picks, as discussed in a recent podcast. The Cleveland team seems inclined to explore options beyond the quarterback, as does the New York team, at the 3rd pick, evaluating alternatives to that position. If Cleveland decides not to pick this athlete at the 2nd spot, and New York also passes on him at 3rd, the question arises, where will he land? If this happens, which I consider a possibility, the team best positioned for his acquisition will be Las Vegas. I understand that selecting a quarterback may not be a priority in the first round, especially after the signing of a new player, but if the intention is to think long-term, he could be a viable option. I recognize that many argue otherwise, advocating that the focus should be on immediate needs. If the choice is made to not secure a quarterback for the future in the first round, that's perfectly acceptable, and the team can look for other options. This would result in the possibility of selecting a talented player, a defender, or one of the linemen available, and I truly believe this is the most likely conclusion. If the team decides not to select a player for the future in the first round, that's entirely understandable. They can move forward in the draft and pick a different player. This would leave the team with the option to choose between a talented athlete or one of the linemen. Realistically, I judge this to be the most plausible situation for the first round. Regardless of personal preferences or excitement for certain players, it seems the team should focus on a distinct need. Reflecting on past decisions, the first pick in this draft was dedicated to strengthening the offensive line. However, I recognize how much fans want to see a specific player on the field. I share that longing. Hypothetically, if this athlete isn't available at the 6th pick and the team decides to go a different route in the running back position, who would you pick, and in which round would you consider selecting him? I'm curious to know your thoughts in the comment section. In other updates, surprising information has surfaced for fans. It seems the team will not go to the wine region for its training camp this year. According to a recent tweet, the training camp in the wine region will not happen this year. The team made efforts to resolve the situation and, when seeking clarification, was informed that an explanation would be provided later. Many fans have been eagerly awaiting the return to the training camp in the wine region, as it would have been an incredible experience. Last year, the team was in another city, but things didn't go well due to various restrictions. The expectation of returning to the wine region was especially exciting for fans from the Bay Area and Northern California, who wanted to relive past memories. I even considered the possibility of traveling there to experience the atmosphere of the event. I had the chance to visit the wine region once before, which was the last time the team was there. Nostalgic feelings overwhelm me when I think about the Raiders in Napa. It would have been wonderful to experience that. I considered the possibility of a trip to Napa just to soak up the atmosphere of the place. I've been there once in 2019 during the filming of a program about the team. One of the organizers was very helpful and provided me with a ticket, which was a great help. I plan to return, but it seems this won't happen, and the team will likely stay in Las Vegas, which is somewhat advantageous for me as it saves me from traveling. I thought it was relevant to bring up this update since it was shared over the weekend. The last point I want to touch on concerns the leak of a player's contract details. Information circulating suggests that he signed a one-year deal worth approximately $1 million with no guarantees. It's surprising, a great deal for the team. If this is confirmed, it will be an excellent addition, considering this player's talent. I recognize that his performance in recent years hasn't been the same, but securing a deal like this for $1 million is truly remarkable. It's a low-risk, high-reward operation, which is very encouraging, especially because the linebacker group needs new talent and a refresh. I believe this could benefit the team, and if he excels this season, we might be talking about one of the best signings of the offseason. I'm looking forward to seeing his performance throughout the year. If he really stands out, we'll have to reconsider the situation next year, as contract values could rise. And you? What do you think about this contract and everything that was mentioned? Feel free to leave your opinions in the comments below. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The Las Vegas Raiders have been searching for a game-changing superstar, someone who can electrify Allegiant Stadium and strike fear into opposing defenses. What if that player is already one of the most explosive talents in the NFL? Rumors are swirling that Tyreek "Cheetah" Hill, the Miami Dolphins' record-breaking wide receiver, could be on the move, and the Raiders might just be the perfect destination. But how real is this possibility, and what would it mean for the silver and black? Hill's resume speaks for itself. An 8-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, and the NFL's leading receiver in 2023, he's a human highlight reel with unmatched speed and playmaking ability. Last season, he shattered Dolphins records with 1,799 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns, proving he's still at the peak of his powers. His chemistry with a strong-armed quarterback like Aiden O'Connell or a potential new Raiders signal caller could instantly transform Las Vegas offense into one of the league's most dangerous. But why would Hill leave Miami? Despite his individual brilliance, the Dolphins missed the playoffs in 2024, and Hill's cryptic social media activity, including a profile picture hinting at Antonio Brown's infamous exit, has fueled speculation about his frustration. While Dolphins GM Chris Greer insists Hill hasn't requested a trade, the Raiders could pounce if he becomes available. Imagine Hill lining up alongside Davante Adams, creating a nightmare for defensive coordinators. The pairing would give Las Vegas the most lethal WR duo in football. Of course, pulling off this blockbuster wouldn't be easy. Hill's contract is massive, and the Raiders would likely need to part with significant draft capital. But for a team desperate to compete in the loaded AFC West, landing a player of Hill's caliber could be worth the gamble. Owner Mark Davis has never shied away from bold moves, and head coach Antonio Pierce would relish the chance to add a leader with championship pedigree. The question remains, will the Raiders make an aggressive push for Tyreek Hill, or will this remain a tantalizing what-if? One thing's certain, if Hill dons the silver and black, the NFL better watch out. Las Vegas wouldn't just get a star, they'd get a cheat code. And in a league where speed kills, The cheetah could be the key to unlocking the Raiders' Super Bowl dreams. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.